Have you ever wondered if tying the knot again after 70 is the romantic dream it seems, or a decision that could turn your golden years upside down? In this video, we uncover the 5 shocking reasons why senior life experts warn against remarrying after 70, reasons that could save you from emotional turmoil, financial pitfalls, and unexpected regrets. From hidden challenges to life-altering consequences, you need to watch until the end to discover the critical insights that could protect your heart and happiness in this new chapter of life. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you liked this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know so I can make a better video for you. Now, let's get started. Number 1, financial vulnerability. At first glance, finding love in your 70s can feel like a gift, a second chance at companionship, someone to share meals with, laugh with, and fill the quiet moments of life. But beneath the warmth of this newfound connection lies a potential threat that many older adults overlook. Remarriage can unravel your financial security with startling speed, exposing you to risks you may not have anticipated. After decades of carefully building your nest egg through savings, pensions, investments, or even the equity in your home, a single legal signature, a walk down the aisle, can put it all in jeopardy. The danger isn't always about malicious intent, it's about the legal and financial realities that come with marriage, often catching seniors unprepared. When you marry, your financial life becomes legally intertwined with your new spouse's, regardless of how much you trust them or how pure their intentions may be. If your partner brings debt, whether from credit cards, medical bills, or even obligations to children or ex-spouses from a previous marriage, those liabilities can become your burden. In many jurisdictions, marriage creates a shared financial responsibility, meaning creditors may look to your assets to settle your spouse's debts. Even if you intend to keep your finances separate, the law doesn't always honor that assumption. For example, community property states in the U.S., like California or Texas, may treat assets acquired during marriage as jointly owned, complicating efforts to protect your savings. Beyond debt, remarriage can disrupt your access to critical retirement benefits. For instance, if you're receiving Social Security survivor benefits from a deceased spouse, remarrying before age 60 can disqualify you from those payments entirely. Even if you remarry after 60, certain benefits, like Medicaid eligibility, may be affected as your new spouse's income and assets are factored into eligibility calculations. I've seen heartbreaking cases where individuals, like a woman named Margaret, lost thousands of dollars in monthly income after remarrying, unaware that her new marriage would end her survivor benefits. Margaret, 72, had relied on her late husband's Social Security to cover her living expenses. After marrying a charming widower, her check stopped, leaving her scrambling to adjust to a reduced income she hadn't planned for. Inheritance is another minefield. You may have spent years planning to leave a legacy for your children or grandchildren, a home, savings, or cherished family heirlooms. But without meticulous legal planning, remarriage can redirect those assets to your new spouse or their family. In many states, a spouse is entitled to a portion of your estate upon your death, even if your will specifies otherwise, due to laws like elective share statutes. This can lead to disputes between your children and your new spouse, especially if relationships are strained. Consider Ellen, a 74-year-old widow who remarried a kind man she met through her church group. They shared a warm companionship, but Ellen was blindsided when she learned her new husband had significant medical debt and no savings of his own. Within 2 years, she was dipping into her retirement fund to cover his expenses, under pressure to revise her will to include him. Her children, who had expected to inherit her modest home, were devastated, and what began as a loving partnership turned into a source of financial strain and family tension. The psychological toll of financial vulnerability cannot be overstated. For seniors, financial stability is more than just numbers in a bank account. It's about dignity, independence, and peace of mind. Losing that security can lead to anxiety, shame, and a sense of powerlessness. Many older adults hesitate to discuss their financial struggles with their children, fearing judgment or embarrassment, which can lead to isolation. Some even try to hide the issue, taking on additional stress to maintain appearances. The independence you've worked so hard to preserve can erode, and a marriage that promised joy becomes a daily reminder of what's been lost. To protect yourself, consider consulting a financial advisor or estate planning attorney before remarrying. A prenuptial agreement can clarify which assets remain separate, while a trust can safeguard your estate for your intended heirs. Review your retirement benefits and understand how marriage might affect them. For example, the Social Security Administration provides resources to calculate potential changes in benefits. Taking these steps isn't about distrusting your partner, it's about ensuring that your financial legacy and peace of mind remain intact. If you've built a life with a roof over your head, food in your kitchen, and a plan for your future, pause before saying, "I do." Again, your heart may be ready, but make sure your wallet isn't whispering, "Please don't." If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 2, health responsibility overload. Remarriage after 70 isn't just a union of hearts. It's a commitment to sharing someone else's health journey, which can become an overwhelming responsibility at a stage of life when your own well-being is already a priority. By your 70s, health isn't a side note, it's a central part of your daily reality. You may be managing chronic conditions like arthritis, hypertension, or diabetes, juggling doctor's appointments, medications, and lifestyle adjustments to maintain your quality of life. After years of caring for others, children, a former spouse, or aging parents, you might finally be ready to focus on yourself. But remarriage can thrust you back into the role of caregiver, often with little warning and significant consequences for your own health. When you marry, you're not just signing up for companionship. You're potentially taking on your spouse's medical needs, which can range from minor assistance to full-time caregiving. At this age, health challenges are common, and they can escalate quickly. Your new spouse might start with small needs, forgetting to take their pills or needing help with mobility. But over time, these demands can grow. A minor issue, like a fall or a diagnosis of dementia, can transform your role from partner to nurse, managing medications, coordinating therapies, or even providing physical support for daily tasks like bathing or dressing. This level of care requires energy, time, and emotional resilience, resources that may already be stretched thin as you manage your own health. The toll of caregiving in your 70s is profound. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that older caregivers are at higher risk for physical and mental health decline. They often skip their own doctor's appointments, neglect exercise, eat poorly, or lose sleep due to the demands of caring for someone else. Social isolation is another risk, as caregivers may withdraw from friends or community activities to focus on their spouse's needs. This can lead to depression, anxiety, and even a shortened lifespan. Consider Patricia, a 76-year-old woman I met at a senior community center. She remarried a charming man who brought joy to her life after years of widowhood. But within a year, he suffered a minor stroke, and Patricia found herself lifting him, managing his medications, and driving him to physical therapy, all while ignoring her own worsening knee pain and vision problems. By the time she sought help, she was exhausted, depressed, and on the verge of physical collapse. Her once vibrant spirit dimmed, not because she stopped loving her husband, but because the weight of caregiving overwhelmed her. It's also worth considering the emotional dynamics. Companionship is wonderful, but when it shifts into a caregiver-patient relationship, the balance of the marriage can change. What began as mutual support may start to feel one-sided, leading to resentment or guilt. If your spouse's health needs escalate, you may face difficult decisions about in-home care, assisted living, or even nursing facilities, decisions that can strain your finances and emotional well-being further. And if you're not prepared for these responsibilities, the marriage that promised happiness can become a source of daily stress. Before remarrying, have an open conversation with your partner about health expectations. Discuss their current medical conditions, medications, and long-term care plans. Consider whether you're physically and emotionally equipped to take on additional caregiving responsibilities, and explore options like long-term care insurance or support from family members. Setting boundaries early, such as agreeing to hire professional help if needed, can prevent you from being overwhelmed later. Your energy and health are precious in your 70s, and protecting them isn't selfish, it's essential. Ask yourself, am I ready to take on another person's health needs today, tomorrow, and potentially for years to come? If there's any hesitation, honor it. Your well-being is not just a priority, it's the foundation of your ability to live fully in this chapter of life. Number 3, legal complications. Remarriage after 70 is often seen as a romantic or emotional decision, but it's also a legal contract with far-reaching consequences that can affect not just you, but your children, grandchildren, and the legacy you've spent a lifetime building. Many seniors enter remarriage without fully understanding the legal entanglements that come with it, only to find themselves grappling with complex issues that threaten their financial security, family harmony, and personal autonomy. From inheritance disputes to changes in benefits and medical decision-making, the legal implications of tying the knot again demand careful consideration. Let's start with inheritance. You may have spent decades building a legacy, a home, savings, investments, or sentimental heirlooms intended for your children or grandchildren. Your will might be carefully crafted, with beneficiaries clearly outlined, but remarriage can upend those plans. In many jurisdictions, a new spouse automatically gains legal rights to a portion of your estate upon your death, even if your will states otherwise. For example, in states with elective share laws, a surviving spouse can claim up to 1/3 or 1/2 of your estate, potentially reducing what your children receive. Without proper planning, such as a prenuptial agreement or a trust, your assets could be redirected to your spouse or their family, leading to disputes that fracture family relationships. I've seen cases where adult children were shocked to learn that their parents' new spouse inherited the family home, leaving them with nothing but resentment. Social Security and other benefits are another area of concern. If you're receiving survivor benefits from a deceased spouse, remarriage can reduce or eliminate those payments depending on your age and the timing of the marriage. For example, remarrying before age 60 typically disqualifies you from Social Security survivor benefits, though remarriage after 60 may preserve them. However, other programs, like Medicaid, factor in your spouse's income and assets, potentially disqualifying you from coverage you rely on for long-term care. This can be a devastating blow if you're counting on those funds to cover medical or living expenses. A woman named Susan, 73, learned this the hard way when she remarried and lost her Medicaid eligibility, forcing her to drain her savings to cover medical costs she hadn't anticipated. Medical decision-making and power of attorney add another layer of complexity. If you become incapacitated due to illness or injury, your new spouse typically becomes your default legal decision-maker. Even if your adult children are better equipped to honor your wishes, this can lead to conflicts, especially if your children and new spouse don't see eye to eye. Consider Carol, an 81-year-old widow who remarried a man she met at her church. When Carol fell ill, her new husband assumed control over her medical decisions, overriding her daughter's input on treatments and long-term care. The disagreement escalated into a legal battle, not only over medical choices, but also over the inheritance of Carol's home, which she had intended for her grandchildren. Carol later confided, "I thought I was finding companionship, but I created a mess I never intended." To navigate these legal complexities, proactive planning is essential. A prenuptial agreement can clarify asset ownership and protect your estate, while a trust can ensure your assets are distributed according to your wishes. Consulting an estate planning attorney can help you understand your state's laws and draft documents that safeguard your legacy. It's also wise to review your beneficiary designations on accounts like life insurance or retirement plans, as these may need updating to reflect your intentions. For medical decisions, consider designating a trusted family member or friend as your power of attorney, and communicate your wishes clearly in an advance directive. Legal planning may not feel romantic, but it's a loving act for yourself and your family. It ensures that your financial security, your legacy, and your autonomy remain intact. Before you remarry, ask hard questions. How will this affect my estate, my benefits, my family's future? Clarity is your greatest ally at this stage of life. Remarriage may promise a fresh start, but without careful planning, it can lead to a web of legal complications that linger long after the wedding bells fade. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 4, loss of personal freedom. After reaching the age of 70, one of the most precious assets you've earned through decades of hard work, sacrifice, and life experience is your personal freedom. This isn't just about having free time. It's about the profound autonomy to live life on your own terms. You've spent years, perhaps even a lifetime, raising families, meeting work demands, adhering to societal expectations, and navigating countless responsibilities. By your 70s, you've likely carved out a rhythm that suits you, a lifestyle that reflects your preferences, brings you peace, and aligns with your physical and emotional needs. This hard-won freedom allows you to wake up when you choose, eat what you enjoy, spend your days pursuing hobbies or relaxation, and surround yourself with the people and environments that bring you joy. However, remarriage at this stage of life can subtly erode this freedom, often in ways that are difficult to anticipate until you're living them. When you marry in your 20s, 30s, or even 40s, compromise is a natural part of building a shared life. You and your partner are often in the process of creating routines, establishing careers, and raising children together, so flexibility and negotiation are expected. But by your 70s, your habits, preferences, and daily rhythms are deeply ingrained. You've spent years learning what works for you. What diet keeps you healthy? What morning routine sets the tone for your day? What kind of social interactions energize or drain you? These routines aren't just habits, they're the scaffolding of a life that feels authentic and fulfilling. Introducing a new partner into this carefully curated existence can feel less like a joyful addition and more like a disruption. At this age, both you and your potential spouse likely have established ways of living, and blending them requires significant adjustments. For example, you might cherish your quiet mornings spent reading the newspaper or sipping coffee in silence, while your new partner prefers the TV blaring with morning news or expects lively conversation over breakfast. You may thrive on a minimalist meal schedule, perhaps a light lunch and a simple dinner, while they insist on 3 full home-cooked meals a day. These differences, though seemingly minor, can accumulate over time, creating friction and transforming your once peaceful home into a space of negotiation and compromise. Beyond daily routines, remarriage often demands emotional and mental energy that can feel exhausting at this stage. Relationships, even the healthiest ones, require emotional labor, listening to your partner's concerns, adapting to their moods, coordinating schedules, and sometimes navigating their family dynamics. For instance, your new spouse might have adult children or grandchildren who expect your time, attention, or resources, pulling you into family obligations you hadn't anticipated. Suddenly, the hobbies you love, gardening, painting, golfing, or simply enjoying a quiet afternoon, get sidelined. Your alone time, once a given, becomes something you have to negotiate or justify. The independence you've worked so hard to cultivate starts to slip away, replaced by the subtle pressure to prioritize your partner's needs or preferences over your own. Consider the story of Florence, a 76-year-old widow who remarried after 5 years of living independently. Initially, she was thrilled by the companionship. She enjoyed sharing meals, taking evening walks, and having someone to talk to after years of solitude. But as the months passed, she began to notice the toll it was taking. Her quiet mornings, once spent journaling or tending to her garden, were interrupted by her husband's preference for loud music or early conversations. Her solo vacations, a source of adventure and self-discovery, were replaced by joint trips planned around his interests. Even small things, like control over the thermostat or the choice of what to watch on TV, became points of contention. When I was younger, compromise felt like teamwork, Florence shared. But now every change feels like I'm losing a piece of myself. Her story isn't unique. It highlights a common reality for many who remarry later in life. This isn't to say that companionship or love is undesirable after 70. For many, a new partner brings joy, shared experiences, and emotional support. But it's critical to weigh the cost to your personal freedom before making such a commitment. At this stage, your peace, autonomy, and ability to live authentically are treasures you've earned through decades of effort. A relationship that demands constant sacrifice or disrupts your sense of self may not be worth the trade-off. Ask yourself, are you ready to shift from the independence you've cultivated back to a life of shared decision-making? Do you have the energy to renegotiate routines and preferences you've spent years perfecting? If the answer is uncertain, it may be worth exploring other forms of companionship, friendships, community groups, or even a non-cohabitating relationship that allow you to maintain your freedom while still enjoying connection. Love often requires sacrifice, but in your 70s and beyond, you've already made plenty of sacrifices. You deserve a relationship that honors your pace, respects your routines, and enhances your life without compromising the freedom you've worked so hard to achieve. If you're finding this perspective resonates with you, please leave a comment with number 4 to share your thoughts. And if you're enjoying this content, consider subscribing and turning on notifications to stay updated with more insights designed to inform and inspire. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 3 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 5, Financial Entanglement. Remarriage after 70 can bring emotional warmth and companionship, but it also introduces the potential for significant financial complications that can jeopardize the security you've spent a lifetime building. In your younger years, say, your 30s or 40s, merging finances with a spouse often makes sense. You're likely in the accumulation phase of life, building wealth together, saving for shared goals like a home or children's education, and planning for a future that's decades away. But by your 70s, the financial landscape is entirely different. You're no longer in the building phase. You're in the preservation phase. Your savings, investments, pensions, and assets represent not just money, but your independence, your security, and your ability to live life on your terms. Remarriage can complicate this carefully constructed financial foundation, often in ways that are unexpected and difficult to untangle. When you remarry, your financial world doesn't simply expand, it merges. Depending on the legal structure of the marriage and the state or country you live in, your assets, income streams like Social Security or pensions, and even debts may become shared or intertwined without meticulous planning. Think prenuptial agreements, updated wills, or clear estate plans. This merger can expose you to risks that threaten your financial stability. Money at this stage isn't just about numbers. It's about your ability to maintain control over your life choices, from where you live to how you spend your days. A single oversight in financial planning can unravel decades of careful saving and sacrifice. One of the most significant risks is the potential impact on your estate and legacy. If you have children or grandchildren from a previous marriage, remarriage can complicate how your assets are distributed after your passing. For example, without a clear will or trust, your new spouse might inherit a significant portion of your estate, potentially leaving less for your own children or heirs. If your spouse has children from a prior relationship, the situation becomes even more complex. Their children might expect or legally claim a share of your assets, leading to disputes that can fracture family relationships. These conflicts can be emotionally and financially draining, leaving a legacy of tension rather than the harmony you intended. Another concern is the financial habits or obligations your new spouse brings into the marriage. Perhaps they have unpaid debts such as medical bills, credit card balances, or loans. In some cases, they may have financial commitments to their own children or family members, like helping with a grandchild's education or bailing out an adult child in financial trouble. If you're not careful, these obligations can become yours, draining the nest egg you've worked so hard to protect. Even differences in financial philosophy can create stress. If you're frugal and your spouse is a spender, you might find yourself dipping into savings to cover their lifestyle or unexpected expenses, putting your long-term security at risk. Consider the case of Gerald, an 82-year-old widower who remarried after losing his first wife of 50 years. Gerald was initially swept up in the joy of new companionship and didn't think much about the financial implications. He assumed love would work everything out. But within 2 years, he was shocked to find himself paying off his new wife's substantial medical bills from before their marriage, as well as providing financial support to her adult son, who had fallen on hard times. To cover these expenses, Gerald sold the vacation home he had planned to pass down to his daughter, a decision that caused a painful rift in their relationship. "I just wanted someone to share my days with," he said. "I never thought I'd end up giving away so much of what I'd built." Gerald's story underscores a harsh reality. Without clear communication and legal safeguards, remarriage can expose you to financial risks that are difficult to recover from at this stage of life. To mitigate these risks, careful planning is essential. Before remarrying, consult with a financial advisor and an estate planning attorney to ensure your assets are protected. A prenuptial agreement can clarify which assets remain separate, while an updated will or trust can specify how your estate will be distributed. You'll also want to consider how remarriage might affect your Social Security benefits, Medicare eligibility, or other retirement income sources, as these can be impacted in complex ways. For example, in the U.S., remarriage can affect spousal or survivor benefits from a previous marriage, potentially reducing your income. Open, honest conversations with your potential spouse about money, debts, spending habits, and expectations are also critical to avoid surprises down the road. The key question to ask yourself is this: do you have the energy, time, and resources to navigate a complex financial merger? Are you prepared to protect not only your heart, but also your financial security, your legacy, and the well-being of those you care about? If there's even a hint of uncertainty, pause and seek professional guidance before moving forward. At this stage of life, financial peace is as valuable as emotional connection. And remarriage should enhance both, not come at the expense of one. Remarriage after 70 can be a beautiful chapter, but only if it's approached with eyes wide open. By prioritizing your personal freedom and financial security, you can ensure that any new relationship adds to your life without diminishing the independence and stability you've worked so hard to achieve. If this insight resonates, please comment number 5 below. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more content to help you navigate life's big decisions with confidence. That's a wrap on the 5 shocking reasons why you should never remarry after 70, according to senior life experts. So, what have you learned so far? Maybe it's a new perspective on protecting your emotional well-being or a practical tip to safeguard your golden years. Drop a comment below and share one thing you've learned from this video that you'll bring into practice in your life. We can't wait to hear from you. If you found this video eye-opening, please leave your comment below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more life-changing senior living insights.